Good morning, everyone. This is meteorologist Jeff Gerber, waiting for a lot of folks to get on board here so we can give you the latest on the winter weather through the weekend into next week. Like everybody joining us from, everywhere from Hemphill to Silsbee, San Antonio, Deer Park, Port Arthur, Warren, Call, all over the place. Of course, here in Beaumont. So a lot of folks joining us this morning. We're excited about that. And like I said, we're going to run down everything we're looking at for today through the weekend and going into next week. Monday and Tuesday look not too good across Southeast Texas. Give us just a minute or so. Stick with us and we'll be right with you here. We'll get everything up and running and give you a quick rundown of what we're expecting. And then I'll try to take some comments from you and answer some questions as far as what you're thinking about as we head into early next week. Once again, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Jeff Gerber here. We are checking out the winter weather for the weekend into early next week. I appreciate everybody coming in to check out this update all the way from different places across Southeast Texas to, San Antonio, up in the Dallas area. We've been seeing a lot of different places, so I appreciate you being here. I like the one that says, I think it was Sean said, I'm watching from my truck, so that's a good one there. I like that. Anyway. Here, what we're looking at, cold air not only here in Southeast Texas, but across the state. Even Brownsville down to about 40 degrees right now. San Antonio near freezing. Austin's under freezing. Teens in the Texas Panhandle, West Texas in the teens. So it's very cold air that's come in behind the front. Front is now well down into the Gulf of Mexico. That's where most of the rain is. But you can see a little bit of light rain across East Texas. Not as much activity across the state as we saw yesterday at this time. Yesterday, they were dealing with some ice in the hill country around the Austin area, San Antonio. It looks like that's really quieted down for this afternoon. We still have some areas of drizzle and light rain across East Texas. We're going to see kind of pockets of those throughout the day. But that should be just liquid rain as temperatures right now are above the freezing mark. And you can see on radar, it doesn't look like anything, but if you've been out this morning here in Southeast Texas, you've been running into some drizzle, some very light rain. Radar just does not do a good job of picking that up, and not really seeing much of that on radar. But there is some out there. I can attest to that. I ran out for a few minutes this morning and had to use the wipers off and on as we was running into that drizzle. Now here are current temperatures. It's cold. We're right now running anywhere from 34 in Woodville up to 39 in Beaumont. Jasper's at 36, Kirbyville's at 36, Silsbee 37, 39 through Beaumont, Orange, and 38 in Port Arthur. And probably not going to get much warmer this afternoon. We have completely cloudy skies, a little bit of light rain and drizzle. We might go up a couple degrees more through the afternoon. That's about it. So we might hit about 40, 41 in the Triangle. And I think you folks up into the lakes area from really Lumberton on north, we're going to be stuck in the middle to upper 30s throughout the afternoon. So bundle up if you're going to be out and about. Once again, though, any precipitation falling, it's just going to be rain today because of the temperatures above the freezing mark. So we don't have to worry about any type of frozen precipitation out there for this afternoon. Yes, it's a dreary day. Here's what it looks like. From Education First Federal Credit Union looking down the East Tex. It's damp. You can see the roadways are damp. But it's just been a light rain out there. Hasn't been some of the heavier showers that we saw yesterday, and not expecting anything heavy today, just the light rain. Futurecast keeps us in the 30s through the afternoon. Does show maybe a few places around the triangle hitting about 40 this afternoon, and then most of the day it's going to be into the 30s. Don't see much in the way of precipitation through the rest of the day. As we go into later on through the overnight, there is a little weak disturbance that's going to come through towards tomorrow morning, and that might give us a couple little spots of some maybe sleet freezing rain up towards the lakes. I'm talking about north of 190 up there. Not going to accumulate, not going to be a problem, I don't think, for anybody, but there is a little slight chance of that. I go 20% for Saturday, and then again on Sunday early in the morning. All right, let's get right to the 7-day forecast. Weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 20% chance of, like I said, maybe a little bit of a weak pop-up shower towards the triangle, a little bit of maybe a little bit of a mix up towards the lakes area, but it won't accumulate, won't be any travel problems, just be a little passing thing here and there. You might say, hey, was that some sleet, or was that, a little bit of a snowflake there? Could see something like that over the weekend, but not anticipating anything big. Now, heading into Sunday night, we're talking late Sunday night, more likely even on Monday morning, we start to see that mix come into the area. We'll go with a good coverage of that, 80% throughout the area. As we drop down to just below the freezing mark here in the triangle, you folks up in the lakes area will be in the upper 20s, so there's a good chance for a mix. I think we're going to get precipitation for sure. What form it's going to fall in, we're going to have to wait and see as we head towards Monday. Then, of course, Tuesday is going to be that cold morning with temperatures back down into the teens. So that's some of the coldest air we've seen here since 2018. And then Wednesday, another question mark there, especially up towards the lakes, as we see another disturbance go by Wednesday morning. That could kick off maybe a little bit more in the way of mix, in the lakes area, up around 190, maybe just north of Lumberton there. We could see a little bit of a mix. I think the triangle, should be okay. We'll be, I think, just above the freezing mark, probably looking for rain for us. But question mark there on Wednesday, and then it should start to clear out early on Thursday as temperatures are going to drop off a little bit, but still stay in the 40s. Okay, kind of give you the timeline of what we're looking at here. Intervals of rain, getting a little bit colder in the mornings as we head through the weekend. I don't anticipate any travel problems in the immediate area over the weekend. So traveling over to Lake Charles, maybe traveling to Houston, I think you'll be fine. But if you're going to Houston, I wouldn't stay any later than maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd get back over here before we get into the evening hours, just to make sure you're safe at home before we see any type of frozen precipitation. So travel, like I said, Houston on Saturday, first half of the day on Sunday, I think you'll be fine. Traveling to Lake Charles, you'll be fine throughout the weekend. It's that late evening on Sunday into Monday that we're going to start to see probably some icy conditions. And of course, Monday's President's Day. We'll see a possibility of an ice storm. Could pick up anywhere from 1/10 of an inch of rain or ice all the way up to maybe 1/2 an inch. Patrick last night was talking about even more than that. We're going to have to wait and see how that all pans out once we get to there. Icy roads, a good possibility, especially bridges. And then we can see the ice form on the power lines, and there could be some power outages out there. And then that should move out by no later than Tuesday or Monday night. And then we get cold back down into the teens, and that could cause more problems as far as busting pipes and things like that. And if we see the icy conditions, I think on President's Day, if we pick up, say, 1/4 of an inch of ice, that's going to keep temperatures close to the freezing mark. We're not going to warm up much at all on Monday, so we could see that ice stick around all the way through Tuesday morning, and then by Tuesday afternoon, as we start to warm up, it'll melt. But definitely going to see icy conditions, not over on the power lines or things like that, but on bridges, on roadways, all the way through Tuesday afternoon. So we might not be able to do any traveling really from Sunday late night until Tuesday afternoon. That is a possibility. So plan on something like that. Plan on being at home and not being able to get out for, say, 36, maybe up to 48 hours. Also plan on those power outages. So just like with a hurricane, have some batteries, have some non-perishable food, that kind of stuff ready to go for a couple of days there, as conditions might not be the best for travel. All right, I want to show you a couple of different models. This is the American model, the GFS model. We'll start you off at 12 a.m. on Monday or midnight, Sunday night. Notice by that point it already has some mixed precipitation, mainly in the form of maybe some freezing rain or sleet up towards the lakes area. Going into, say, 2 a.m., it starts to spread that freezing rain or sleet all the way down towards the triangle. It shows maybe a little bit of rain along the coast. Going into, say, 6 a.m., it has that sleet, freezing rain mixture all the way across southeast Texas except on the extreme coast. And then as we head towards, say, 10 a.m., still looking at freezing rain, and it takes through the afternoon that we see that freezing rain before it finally moves out. One thing about the GFS, it does have everything moving out of here fairly quickly. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it has most of the precipitation out of here and moving off towards the east. So this is worst case scenario. The GFS has basically under freezing rain starting, say, midnight, 1 o'clock, and it keeps that freezing rain lingering all the way through, say, 1, 2 o'clock through the afternoon. If this would pan out, we could see definitely a half an inch of ice on things across the area, even maybe worse than that. So this is worst case scenario. We're hoping that the American model is wrong and that it's not going to pan out. Now, we'll switch over to the European model. We'll start you once again about midnight on Monday. As we go into time, notice that it keeps that frozen precipitation through the morning hours all the way up north, even north of the lakes area. It brings basically in as rain to start off with, and then keeps it as rain as we go towards, say, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. By 8 o'clock, it does start to bring in some, say, freezing rain towards the lakes, into parts of Hardin County, and then also across maybe even the triangle as we head towards noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So this scenario would bring us less ice. Still going to see some frozen precipitation, but less in the way than the GFS does. And it also, by, say, afternoon, tries to switch it over to maybe some sleet or even snow up towards the lakes area before it moves out around 5 or 6. So the European model keeps it around a couple hours longer, but it moves it out fairly quickly by the evening hours. So interesting to look at. Two different scenarios. One is a lot of ice. Another one does bring in some ice, but not quite as much. So we're going to have to wait and see how it pans out. We've been talking about the way the precipitation forms. Of course, if it's all warm air across the area above freezing temperatures, and then we're just going to see rain. The precipitation starts to snow up in the clouds, and then it moves through that warm layer, and it's just all rain. If it's just the opposite of that, starts out of snow and it goes through sub-freezing temperatures all the way to the ground and snow. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be seeing probably one of these two things going into Monday. We're talking about freezing rain or sleet, which freezing rain is basically starts off as a snowflake. It goes through a large area where it turns over back to rain, and then right before it gets to the ground, the temperatures are below freezing once again, and then it freezes on contact. And then that's, like I said, the worst case scenario. That's where you're talking about power outages, travel. You won't be able to do any traveling if it starts to build up on the roadways. And then sleet, still not perfect as far as trying to get some travel done, but sleet, at least, it's a little bit better than freezing rain as far as conditions go. Once again, it starts out as snow, it changes over to liquid, and then eventually freezes as an ice pellet before it hits the ground. So sleet, still don't want sleet, but it's a little bit better case scenario than if we had freezing rain across the area. Even if we don't get, say, widespread ice, we still got to watch the bridges and overpasses as we get into Monday. Cold air gets underneath those things, and even though maybe the regular roadways could be above freezing, those bridges and overpasses could drop down below the freezing mark. So say we get a little bit of ice, we're really going to have to watch the bridges and overpasses. That's where the worst problem is going to be, I think, on Monday. Any elevated surface you're driving over, that's a chance to get that air flow around it, and that's where we could see our best chance of seeing some of that ice really start to build up. All right, once again, 7-day forecast shows that mix on Monday, and then as we get into Tuesday, we're expecting that cold air to come in on Tuesday morning. Looking at some lower teens right along the coast. In the triangle here, we're looking at upper teens, maybe 18, 19. And then once you get, say, north of Beaumont, say Lumberton northward, we're looking at maybe some middle teens. So we know the 4 Ps, of course. Make sure your friends and neighbors got that heat on. Make sure the pets are brought in if you can. If not, maybe a little heat lamp or something in their doghouse with some straw. You don't want to have those pets outside, not when we're in the teens. Also, make sure the tender vegetation, you bring that in. If you can't bring it in, if it's got to be outside, probably not going to survive, especially from the triangle northward with temperatures in the teens. And then, of course, we've been talking the last couple of days about pipes. You need to have that covered up, those wrapped up before that cold weather gets here, especially if you live like in a mobile home, you have exposed pipes underneath. If you live like in an apartment, your pipe should be fine. You have insulation, you should be fine. If you have any exposed pipes, we're talking about, say you have pipes in your attic, and your attic is the insulation's below the pipes, you might want to wrap those up. Or if you have pipes on the outside wall and that wall is not insulated, you want to get those wrapped up. Anywhere where that cold air can get to the pipes, those were the problem areas where you need to get those wrapped up before they freeze. And if the water freezes in those pipes, of course, they're going to burst and you're going to have big problems. Also, a good idea might be to put on some of those covers on the outside faucets. They have those at the hardware stores. Make sure you take those hoses off the outside faucets, let those drip out, and cover those up if you can. Maybe even just to wrap a towel around it if you don't want to go buy an official cover or anything like that. This is going to be record cold. These are the coldest temperatures in Beaumont. Coldest we've ever gotten is 10 degrees. That's in 1906, back in February 6th. We dropped to 11 in 1930, 12 in 1989, 13 in 1983, and 14 in 1962. In 1983 also we got to 15 degrees. So Christmas Eve we had 13, 1983 Christmas Day we dropped to 15. So there were a couple of cold days there. So if we get to 19, we'll be there in the top 10 as far as cold temperatures into parts of Beaumont going into Tuesday morning. So looks like any way you slice it's probably going to be a bit of a mess as we head into Monday. Wet weather, freezing rain, sleet, looking not good for early next week. Let me see if we have a few questions from folks. Trish says, is there any chance of losing power? Of course. If we get ice build up, power lines are not very good at holding that ice. We can definitely see some widespread power outages. Could take a little while to get those lines fixed. Back in 1997, we had that ice storm here, and a lot of folks were without power for 4, 5, 6 days. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that it could be without power for at least a couple of days if the ice starts to build up. It depends on how much ice we get. If we get 1/10 of an inch, we'll have some spotty power outages. I don't think it's going to be widespread power outages, but if we get 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, then we could see some big problems out there as far as the power lines. Let's see if there's anything else going on here. How is travel to Dallas Tuesday afternoon? We're really going to have to watch that because we're going to be just into the lower 40s here in the triangle. But as you go farther north, they could still be under the freezing mark or down into the lower 30s. So you might still run into some icy roadways as you go farther to the north. I would check the roadways, the Texas Travel website there, and see what the roadways are before you take out. I think travel around the immediate area by late Tuesday afternoon will be fine, but going northward, that's going to be a question of temperatures there. So like I said, anywhere from around the immediate area, I think we'll be fine through the afternoon on Tuesday. Once we get into the late afternoon, those temperatures get above freezing. But if you're going to be traveling north, I would definitely check that stuff out before you head that way. So. It still be expecting power outages. There could be power outages everywhere in southeast Texas, depending on how much ice forms. So I wouldn't say one spot has a better chance of seeing power outages over another. I think Jasper has just as good a chance as Beaumont or Orange or Port Arthur as having power outages. If we get that freezing rain to form across the entire area, I think everybody has a chance for seeing some power outages. So something we hope doesn't come to fruition, but it might happen as we head into Monday. We're going to kind of plan for the worst and hope for the best across here. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Will it happen in Livingston? Yeah, I think Livingston might have even a better chance of maybe seeing a little bit of snow or sleet than the freezing rain, but definitely going to see some winter precipitation up that way as well. All right, let me take a look and see if we see any more questions here. Yep, already went over the power thing. Yes, everyone, and please stay safe. If you don't have to be out traveling on Monday, best idea is just make plans to be home all day long. If you're going to be in the area on Monday, just don't get out and let this thing kind of do its thing, move past us. And then as we get into Tuesday afternoon, things will start to improve and we'll get a little bit better as we head towards Tuesday into Wednesday. All right, I appreciate all the comments. Is Southwest Louisiana expecting the same weather, travel issues? Yeah, Lake Charles, same type of deal there. We're still going to expect to see possibly some frozen precipitation over into the Lake Charles area as we get into Monday as well. And then all the way up into parts of Beauregard, Vernon parishes, maybe even snow as you go farther to the north as you head up towards Alexandria and things like that. But yeah, like I said, travel from Houston over to Lake Charles, not recommended as we go into Monday. Looks like we're going to be dealing with some frozen precipitation, probably some freezing rain on Monday. That's looks like we're going to be dealing with right now. So I will hope folks, like I said, stay indoors if you don't have to be out and about. If you do have to be out on the roadways, just try to stay away from elevated surfaces. If you can get to where you need to go without going over a bridge, overpass, that would be the best case scenario. And take it slow. Even though it might not look icy, there's a thing called black ice that we could see where the road looks fine, but you step on those brakes and you start sliding very quickly. That also can occur as we head into Monday. So even though you might have a big truck and you think, man, I can do anything with this thing, the ice is an equalizer. It will, I don't care how big your tires are, you could slide right off the road no matter what you're driving when you're dealing with ice. So it's not a good thing to try to get out and about on. But like I said, late Sunday night into Monday is going to be the tricky part of traveling. If you can get down into the house and hunker down by early Sunday evening, that would probably be the best deal. And then you might not be able to get back out and do any traveling until Tuesday afternoon. So be prepared for that. Have plans in place to kind of be in the house there from Sunday evening all the way through Tuesday afternoon. That's when we'll come above the freezing mark. So be prepared for that. Make plans for that. Anyway, that's what we're looking at. Intervals of some rain, getting colder over the weekend. I think travel problems, like I said, shouldn't see too many of those over the weekend. If you're going from Houston to Lake Charles, I think you'll be all right. But once you get into the afternoon on Sunday, get back over here from Houston if you're over in that direction. You don't want to be in Houston on Sunday evening. Then we look possibly at a good chance of an ice storm on President's Day, icy roads, power outages across the area. And then that should end by Monday evening. We deal with a record cold on Tuesday morning as we deal with maybe some pipe problems there. And even with the ice around, we're going to deal with icy roads probably through most of the day on Tuesday. Things will start to hopefully warm up and the ice will start to melt as we head into Tuesday afternoon. So problems out there for the beginning of next week. We'll keep you updated, of course. Patrick will be on here later on this evening. He'll give you another update and give you the latest on what he's thinking as far as the ice and the wintry weather going into Monday. And of course, over the weekend, we'll keep you updated if we see anything significantly changing. And then, of course, we're going to start very early on Sunday, or I should say Monday morning, and take you right through it all day Monday and then through Tuesday morning as well, and keep you updated there. So Amanda says, any actual snow in Woodville? Now, if we do see any snow, if we'd see that changeover like the European model is showing, let me show that again. We could see something like that happen up towards the lakes area. And if you look at the European model, the green is rain, pink is sleet, freezing rain, and then the white and the purple there is snow. And you can see by the afternoon on Monday, the European model is trying to paint some snow up in that direction. So there is a chance that it could change over maybe to a little bit to snow. Right now, a lot better chance of seeing sleet and freezing rain than snow, but at least the European model is trying to show a little bit of that if you're hoping to see a little bit of snow. And you know, if it does come down, we'd see some accumulation. It looks like if we'd get a scenario like that where we'd actually get some snow across the area. But like I said, right now we're leaning towards more of an icy situation than a snowy situation across southeast Texas. So I know, Amy, I understand. If it's going to be cold, please at least snow. We don't want to deal with the ice, and that's the worst case scenario. It looks like right now that's what we're going to be dealing with as we go into late Sunday night into the day on Monday. All right, a lot of folks tuning in to watch this. I appreciate you all. I really want you to be safe over the weekend. It's going to be cold, so make sure you stay warm, keep those heaters on, and then also be safe into Monday as we deal with this mess. Of course, we'll be updating you. Stay tuned to social media. If you have our app, you can. If you don't have our app, make sure you download that, and you'll be getting updates there as well. And we'll keep you updated on what's going on. We'll be tracking those temperatures and tracking the precipitation, of course, on Monday morning, letting you know what we're getting as far as maybe some frozen precipitation. We'll have crews out, kind of get updating us on bridges and roadways and things like that. And we'll let you know Monday morning, very early, what you can expect across the area. So, Carrie, can I make it to Bush Intercontinental Sunday? Yes, you can make it there. If your flight is leaving morning or afternoon, you'll be fine. If your flight is leaving 10 o'clock on Sunday night, then you might run into a few tricky travel spots there. But if you're heading to Bush on Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, you'll be fine. I don't think you have to worry about anything until we get into Sunday evening over in that part of southeast Texas. All right, once again, I'm going to go ahead and wind this up, and I hope everybody stays warm over the weekend. Like I said, 7:45 p.m. Yeah, I'll get there early. I'd get there as early as you can, Carrie, over to the airport. I try to get there, like I said, if you're taking out on a flight, I'd be getting there by 5 o'clock or so. But appreciate you all watching. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. Patrick will have more updates later on this evening. Keep an eye on those social media accounts over the weekend. We'll be updating you there. And then, like I said, Monday we'll start very early, and we'll take you through the whole event Monday into Tuesday as that cold air spills into southeast Texas. You all stay warm this weekend. Take care.